Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I'm your host, Dr. Nasir, and what's on tap for today? Well, we have got some devastating poll numbers, folks, for Joe Biden, and they're from CNN themselves. Now, I like to bring these up every once in a while because it's a snapshot in time. It's just very, very early, obviously, but the trajectory of Joe Biden's polls have continually been decreasing. There's nothing that's shown an uptick. They decrease, they steady off, they decrease down. Let's hear John King introduce these poll numbers and show the somber attitude that's at CNN and what may be in store for Joe Biden in 2024. And I'm going to give my reaction to it as well.
We begin with some brand new CNN polling and what the numbers tell us about a president still working on his reelection plan as he heads today to Camp David for the Easter weekend. The numbers are beyond sobering for President Biden. They tell us many, or in some cases most of you, have deep doubts about his performance and about the direction of the country right now. It is April 2023, so a very long way to November 2024. So consider these numbers just an early campaign baseline. But, it's an important but, they are still quite telling about your mood and the challenges facing the 80-year-old incumbent. Our CNN political director, David Chalian, here with us to unveil the numbers. David, what do they tell us?
Yeah, John, this is indeed a big baseline poll at just the starting line. And President Biden hasn't even formally announced his reelection yet, but we asked the American people if he deserves reelection, if he deserves a second term. 32%, just a third of Americans in this poll, John, say yes, Joe Biden deserves to be reelected. When we asked that back in December, it was up at 37%. So he's lost a little bit of ground here.
Even these guys, he's lost a little bit of ground. Folks, from December to April, 4 months, he's lost nearly 5 points. And this trajectory has continually been decreasing as these polls have been taken. They decrease, it ticks up maybe, or just stays steady, and then it continues to tick down. Those that say he deserves re-election, 67%, folks. That's nearly 7 out of 10. Nearly 7 out of 10. Let's continue.
And we've noticed what's driving that is young voters, liberals, some people that should be naturally in a D versus R world in Joe Biden's camp. So he'll have some work to do.
Black voters, Hispanic voters, Asian voters, young voters, women voters, just voters in general, basically are being, driven out of Biden's camp. And that's true, folks. There's a lot of Biden remorse going on out there.
On his own side of the fence before he can actually convince the broad middle of the country. Take a look at his overall approval rating in this poll. 42% approve, 57%.
And if you take a look at this thing here right now, again, the Biden approval poll, folks, disapprove 57%. 57% at this point in time, April of 2023. 6 out of 10. Where 7 out of 10 don't want him to run for re-election, but his approval rating is 60% disapproval, 40% approve. Folks, these are just absolutely devastating numbers. And we just have to capitalize on this. President Trump has to keep going on offense, putting out those ads, doing those wonderful, videos of Americana and him leading back the charge, making America great again, just continually to go on offense, offense, offense. That's what it is about politics. There's no time for a lull. Every day needs to be thought of for the re-election for President Trump. Every day needs to be thought of. What can we do to garner votes? What can I do? What can my team do? What can what can we do as a party, the Republican Party, the conservatives? What can we do to continually bring in new voters and those voters that are disenfranchised, that basically have been disappointed with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris? What can we do to bring them over to the right side? We appreciate you taking the time to watch. As we said before, it's just a snapshot. I've always said these polls are just snapshots or Polaroids in time, but it's nice to see some Polaroids. We can look back at these family pictures a little bit later on after Trump wins in 2024 and say, hey, yep, These are some nice family pictures. Folks, thanks for taking the time to watch. You've been watching the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I'm your host. My name is Dr. Nasir. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, like, share, and follow us to let us know what you think. If you see some polls out there or whatever, send them over to our email. Message us on YouTube. Put it in the comments below. We'll try to answer as much as we can. I'll leave with my final thought, which is, when you're right, you're right. And when you're left, you're wrong. Until next time, folks, take care and stay safe.